Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. It's actually been a very long time since we've done one of these Zoom chats. We are back into some sort of home life here, both Paul and I. But even though we've been away from the Zoom, we have still been enjoying football. The Euros are around the corner, and I am joined by PFC's one and only Paul Blake. How are you, bud? You good?
Yeah, very good, mate. How are you?
Good. Look, I'm really excited for the Euros, more so because we finally get to see some sort of, tournament that we've been waiting for longer than the usual 4 years. I'm excited for that. Have you any thoughts about like your excitement?
Oh, mate, I'm ecstatic. It's going to be a good few years in football. Obviously, we're going to be able to, well, hopefully be able to go back to back with tournaments, which is huge, right? Like, we're going to have the World Cup the following year as opposed to have to wait another 2 years. No, I'm really excited for the Euros. It's, all the hype is there, and I think we've got the Copper as well at the same time, which is going to be great. So, football filled off season, which is perfect.
Definitely, and then we've got the Olympics potentially, if the Japanese government doesn't cancel that after a lot of pressure from their people. And I think the Euros is looking good. I just hope for the sake of the people. And I didn't realize this. I wrote a few notes in my notebook, so if anyone sees me looking at my notes, I'm not, looking at any cheat codes or anything, but I am looking at my notes. I didn't realize. Are they still playing at the 11 cities nominated, or is it only being hosted in certain cities? Because I have the notes down here, and like they're playing a few games at different places. But what's the go with travel and safety for the players? Like, surely this is going to be a bit of a chaotic one.
Yeah, like I'm going to assume that they have to be like isolated to the teams and there'd be no contact with them and external sources, right? Like even press conferences, I'd be surprised if they're not under like extremely strict circumstances. But this is Europe, right? We're in a very different circumstance to what they are in at the moment as well. So it's I think it's gonna be interesting. But I definitely I had a look at the stadiums. There's stuff like there's Stadio Olimpico, Johan Cruyff Arena. There's they're listed as being all over Europe. So
Wembley and Allianz Arena. Look, it's gonna be a pretty amazing tournament. I think the pressure of the world and the stress that everyone's gone through the past couple of months, with the situation that we're living through, I think it's going to be really exciting to see a lot of football. And I'm really excited more so for the English fans because I think there's a bit of excitement for their squad. I know everyone watches the Premier League. Everyone loves the Premier League. I think when it comes to the marketing sense of the Premier League, it is basically the reason why the English team has a lot of pressure. And I think when it comes to big tournaments, everyone, for the sake of the English team, puts a lot of pressure on them because they think they're going to win it. Are they going to win it? I don't know. What are your thoughts quickly on just the pressure of teams? Who do you think has the most pressure?
Yeah, I think England would have huge expectations, but I think that goes in and out of every tournament. At the same time, I don't think their squad's as strong as it has been.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be anything like Euro '96 or even like from from like early '90s all the way through to like the let's say 2008. They pretty much have a really really strong squad. It seems like they've always had too many options almost, and I think that's maybe been their downfall for a long period of time.
I think the one thing, though, I have to say is that this team does have some sort of connection in a sense of like new, sort of mature, modern sort of, teammanship. I think a lot of these players are pretty much friends off the pitch as well.
Yeah, well, you look at a lot of these guys, and a lot of them came through youth academies together. There's a lot of them that are like sub 24, I think it is,
It's a pretty
and
young
it's
squad.
to have that many. Well, yeah, and that many players that are getting regular club football is dangerous because I guess you get that sense of confidence from youthful players. You don't have that insecurity.
Hmm.
They're willing to play free flowing football, which that can be dangerous. But I guess at the same time, international football and international tournaments has always been a very different brand of football compared to your club scene. I think it seems to be a little bit more respectable in
Yeah.
terms of how aggressive. It's very, very much more of a chess game than I think than club level.
Yeah, look, we'll talk about the English team more so during this episode. Well, so for everyone watching, we are going to keep it pretty simple. We're going to go through each group stage. We've got both our notes down written here, and we'll say the group, and then we'll speak about the group. And then after we finish talking about all the groups, we'll both have a go at who we think is going to be, let's just say, the winners, who's going to be the most shocking at the tournament, who's going to be our favorite player to watch out for. And yeah, look, we might even throw like a dark horse out there and say something random towards the end, like maybe who's going to get the most red cards or who's going to get drunk first or something. But I think, look, this tournament is exciting for us as well, because we get to wake up at 4 a.m. and watch some football, and then extend our day, and then go to bed at 4 a.m. and wake up the next day at 5 a.m. I think. So,
there's one thing I do feel sorry for is employers in the Southern Hemisphere, because the time difference is definitely going to be a struggle for the people waking up early.
Yeah, I've never experienced a major tournament, I think, apart from the Brazil World Cup, where it was at a perfect time to watch, I think, for like beers. So I think you can't really have a beer at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm really excited to make myself some scrambled eggs and watch some football.
It is. Look, 4 o'clock isn't too bad. I think Brazil actually had like a really good range of times. You know, they had like we had like a 9 p.m. And then we even had like 2, 3 a.m., which was like, it was a good varying sort of like nighttime to morning.
Oh, look, I think the best thing about having the morning games is that your day is basically judged on the results. So we can actually have a good day if we win, or a shit day if we lose. But being a neutral fan in this situation, actually not neutral, because you have your Italian heritage, and me, finally, as a Macedonian child living in Australia, I finally get to support my national team in a major tournament. This is the first time I think I'll be ever able to carry that flag with pride.
That's amazing. And yeah, I guess it's different from when you're kids too. Like, you know, when you're really young, you don't really understand. You sort of watching games, you're happy to just be watching football. Like, you'd be happy to watch Brazil. You know, I know obviously we're talking about Euros, but it's so nice to be able to experience that and have your country there, especially because they haven't been a powerhouse in world football. So yeah, it is something really special.
No, look, I'm really excited for that. The last time we had some sort of mention in a major tournament like that was when they were a part of Yugoslavia. Let's not talk about that, because not a lot of us like being mentioned in that thing. And I think there's going to be a lot of things we'll mention. We'll try and do another episode in the future for the kits. I think we'll keep the kits away from this episode, and we'll do a kit episode. Maybe we can just rate them like every other YouTuber in the world. We'll just be like, yes, no, trash, good, bad.
That's a good idea, actually. I think, actually, now that I think of it, I think the last time we would have had a Macedonian player at the Euros would have been 20 years ago, 21 years ago.
Punch
Euro 2000?
Nah, earlier than that. No, way
earlier. As Yugoslavia.
Yeah, years ago. There's been other players, like, you know, you got Kulusevski playing at Sweden. So, you know, it's just a thing. That's part of Europe and migration.
Where you come from. Yeah.
Do you want to start it off with Group A? You want to mention the teams that they are, and then we'll talk about each team.
Yeah, look, so Group A is going to be, obviously, I think it's a really interesting one. You've got, and excuse me because I'm reading out here, Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, and Wales. All, I think, are quite strong. I think Turkey's been off the radar for a while. I think the last World Cup they failed to qualify for. But in saying that, I think that's almost a group of underdogs, which seems to be, from what I've looked at from the groups, a bit of an imbalance between the groups. There seems to be a lot of really, you know, on paper strong squads in that, all in sort of like, you know, one group together, and then a few dark horses all sort of in another, which I'm kind of shattered about, because, you know, for me, Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, and Wales all would be potential dark horses to get to the later stages of the tournament.
Yeah.
You know, you've got some, Switzerland traditionally has been, especially in the last few World Cups and Euros, have been really strong. You know, like players like Shaq and Paulson have been, you know, destroying teams, which is crazy. But the one to watch out for, actually, I think is going to be really interesting to watch, is Turkey. I feel like their squad is built around some really powerful players, and I think they're going to be really strong. So I wouldn't be surprised if Italy tops this group and if Turkey's sneaking above Switzerland and Wales.
Oh, Turkey second. Okay, that makes sense. Look, I do agree with you. I think Turkey have been probably undervalued for many years, but I think when we look at some of the squads and the national teams and players around Europe, or even the world, to say that, I don't think Turkey's been producing a stockload of players. I think they've had a few here's and there's. You know, we see, I keep pronouncing his name so wrong. It's the hardest thing. Hakan Şanlıurfa. I can pronounce like Asian names, so South Korean names. I can pronounce Japanese names, but I can't pronounce the Turkish name.
Şanlıurfa, right?
Şanlıurfa. There you go.
Yeah.
I tried practicing. Yeah, look, and I think he
Yeah.
was a star prior to his move to AC Milan. I think he went a bit dormant on the news sense. I think a lot of players cop that when they go to Italy, when they move away. It's like the media. If you went to the Premier League, they'll talk about him every day, either negative or positive. But I think the Turkish team has something that is the best, and it's always when the media is not talking about you or the popular media, then you come into the tournament with a bit of a, a positive approach, win or lose, but I think they're going to go for it. But I do also think the Welsh team has a sort of pride that they can do something for their country. I think the Welsh, when they do show up at tournaments, they sometimes have this sort of, we'll play for the badge. I do like that sort of hunger from them. And I'm really excited for Ryan Giggs. I did not know he was the coach. And as a United boy, I'm really excited for some of the coaches in this tournament.
That is special. Wales is an interesting one for me. I don't know if he's too old now. And I know that's like, I really shouldn't say that because, players that are like late 20s aren't exactly old. But I just think you look at Gareth Bale, I know he's still a brilliant player. Aaron Ramsey, I know, like, again, brilliant player, but are they past it? I don't think they're probably good enough to have a long cup run. I think they will probably score some amazing goals and, have moments of brilliance. I just don't think they're going to be good enough to last the full length.
Oh, 100%. I think the squad they have is going to show up in the game. I think, you've got Dan James in the squad. So we'll see a bit of pace and a bit of, motion, Ampadu. So I think it's exciting to see some players get their moment. The Welsh team is exciting. The fact that they've got players like James and Ampadu, youngsters are finally getting their chance in sort of the big stage. I think James has not played rarely enough football for United. So I think he's going to play in a sense that people might be watching to buy him or move him around next summer or then when the Premier League comes back. But I think for this league, for this group stage, I'm also excited about Italy. Donnarumma has a bit of controversy about moving from Milan to Juventus. So is this going to be the moment that he shows his worth? And I think his agent is trying to, sell him a bit less or at a medium price. And I think the fans of Milan are annoyed that he's going to Juve and nowhere else. I think everyone's making a bit of a fuss. But I'm also excited to see Emerson play at the tournament as well.
To be honest with you, I was really surprised he got picked in the squad. I think there was a lot of other options. I mentioned, I think to you previously, that Calabria from Milan didn't get picked. And
yeah,
I thought that was a bit of a strange move considering his lack of club football. I know they probably need that left-sided balance. And he has been good for the national team and he's getting a game when they do have a national break. So maybe that's why, maybe
so my call for that one was going to be Italy, I think Wales, Turkey, Switzerland.
Okay. Yeah, and I think I'm going to be sort of similar. I think I'm going to get Italy, Turkey, Switzerland, Wales.
Group B, we've got Belgium, Denmark, Finland, and Russia. I'll do a quick one here. I'm going to say Timo Pukki. That's all I'm just going to say. Timo Pukki for Finland. And also Belgium, I feel they're a bit aged in the sense that, that squad was exciting a couple of years ago. Lukaku, amazing. I'm really excited, hot form. Hopefully he does, things for himself. But I think the squad that he's got behind him, I'm not really convinced that the Belgium squad can do what they did in a couple of years, in the past. But again, this whole situation, a lot of teams not being together for a long time, I'm really, concerned about some of the, the groups actually forming together in this short time. Russia, one thing I wrote down in my notes is that I think this is the first time I've seen a Russian team again since a very long time not play anywhere across the world apart from like dominant Russian-based players. Then also I'm hoping that the Russians get to show on the stage and hopefully we get to see some, names pop up into our, vocabulary next couple of seasons in the Premier League or something.
Yeah, well, you look at their performances at the World Cup they hosted. They were brilliant. They were one of the exciting teams of the tournament, which was great, obviously for local fans as well. I don't know. I'm not too sure whether they could back it up again. I think between them and Finland, I think they'll be fighting for that third and fourth spot. Yeah.
So Belgium, Denmark, Finland, Russia. What about you?
Belgium. Yeah, and then Finland and Russia can be either way. I dare say probably Russia above Finland just purely because I think they've got a bit more experienced squad than what Finland do. Belgium, I don't necessarily think they're going to have a bad tournament. I think they still may have a good run. I think they've got enough experience. I think they've got enough. I think their team's still young enough and still good enough to at least get through to the semis.
Yeah, well, let's just say Belgium's going to do enough to get into the last stages. I don't think they'll get to the finals. I'll get you to announce C, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, so Group C, Austria, Netherlands, Northern Macedonia, and Ukraine.
Take that back. Take that back. Don't announce that team again.
Macedonia. Sorry.
So announce that there.
I'm reading. This is getting too political and awkward for me. Sorry. Macedonia and Ukraine. I feel like this is Eurovision. I feel like I'm Macedonia. um, yeah, I think this is one of those groups that I mentioned before about having all those underdogs in one group. Look, I don't see anyone apart from the Netherlands lasting long in this tournament. But Austria's got some great players. Ukraine can potentially do a fair job as well. I do feel for your boys in these groups. I feel like they may struggle. I'm hoping for some Goran Pandev brilliance to get them through to at least outside of the group stage. I think for sentimental reasons, I'd love for them to finish second. I don't think they're going to finish above Netherlands, but I think it's going to be Netherlands, Austria, Ukraine, Macedonia.
Sorry, look, I'm not even upset about where they're going to finish. The fact they're in the tournament, I'm really happy. I've got a few notes for this one. So, why is everyone in the Ukraine squad, their first name's Alexander? Like literally almost 50 to 60% of the Ukraine squad is for their first names are Alexander. That was a fun fact that I saw. So I'm really excited for that. Also, Dutch squad. I've got some questions. So again, a lot of players, amazing talent for the future. Of course, Van Dijk's not playing, so we're not going to base the entire squad on one player. Depay has a big chance to show his worth again. But the one thing I'm really concerned about the Dutch squad this time around is that their goalkeeper ranks at the moment at this tournament are 30, 35, and 38 years old. Stekelenburg and Tim Krul are still in the top three spots, yeah? What's happened to this whole thing about Dutch, clubs making amazing Dutch players? Like, what's happened to the young keepers? Where are they?
Yeah, it's funny that, isn't it? Because they have like a notorious reputation for bringing up amazing youth. Which look, they still have. You look at the Ajax squad, for the Champions League final. Like, that squad was full of young Dutch players that were brilliant, or that are brilliant. It seems like there's just a bit of a drop off. Well, probably more so in the keeper front, but I don't think it's going to be detrimental to them. I think all three of those keepers are brilliant, so I don't think it's going to be a problem.
I think you have to tell Liverpool supporters that because they think they've got God and Jesus and Mary and their goals there. I think when we talk about goalkeepers, we can't mention Liverpool supporters. And of course, look, being Macedonian and finally having our team, our country represented, I was pretty disappointed what happened with the federation and the politics they went with the color change of their shirt. But thankfully, the people power with Pandev and a lot of the squads, even the female women's team captain, everyone, rebelled against that. I think we finally got the answer to be represented well. Look, I'm really excited in a sense. I'm not even going to mention the Austrian team because, of course, like it's just another underdog in this squad. I'm going to say the Dutch, of course, first, and then technically, I think Ukraine and Macedonia and then Austria. The only reason why I say Ukraine, I think they've just got this underdog value every time.
Well, one thing about Ukraine, and this is what I always find really interesting about international tournaments, you've got a player like Zinchenko, obviously he's like a left fullback. He can play comfortably on the left-hand side, right? Great ball player, passing machine. Is he the type of player that sits in centre midfield for Ukraine? I don't know. Probably, I haven't watched enough of Ukraine to know, but I always find it interesting when you do have an international team with a player that traditionally plays like right back, say for the club because they've got an elite centre midfielder, for example, and they drop into the midfield for this international tournament, and it just like lights up the stage. It's something completely different that you haven't seen before, and they play well, and it's exciting to watch.
Oh, look, and of course, I have to mention one more thing. Everyone has to keep an eye out on Eli Almas at Macedonia, plays at Napoli, but of course, we've got a bit of a red-hot player called Ezjan Alioski who's going to get into a lot of trouble, I reckon, at this tournament. I reckon a lot of red cards. But Pandev, his last dance, hopefully I'll make a documentary on his time at the tournament. Now, Group D, we've got Croatia, the Czech Republic, England, and Scotland. I'll let you go first.
I cannot wait for this England-Scotland game. I think that's going to be great. Just for the social hype and all the reactions around it, it's going to be great to watch. This is a great group. I find this really, really tight. This is going to be really interesting. The Czech squad is actually, if you're looking at all four of these, you'd probably assume that they're the weakest. Their squad consistently throughout is really good. And I think they're going to be ones that may cause some problems for the other three. They've got a few guys playing in the Premier League, a couple of guys in the Bundesliga. I think their squad is going to be definitely someone that takes points away from the other three. Yep. In saying that, obviously there's the England squad. And I feel like they should go through top of the group comfortably. Croatia, you cannot write off. This is, their squad obviously as well is brilliant too. Their midfield is absolutely stacked. But maybe that's probably where it ends for them. Maybe down the back they're probably a little light. But I think England tops that group. Croatia should go second. I think Czech Republic might snag a couple of draws and finish third, and then Scotland will be probably on duck eggs.
That's pretty good. I think you're on point there. Look, the English squad, a lot of pressure. I think when we talk about club level, I think when we talk about national level, I think the English team's always got that pressure because they're so passionate. I think when it comes to football and media, the English team's always spoken about because they're so much basically dominant in everything. Someone farts in the UK, people will talk about across the world.
That's so true.
Oh, it's probably their one and only. What's his name? I keep forgetting his name. The Prime Minister, whatever his name is. Yeah, the good old Boris Bozza. Yep. But I think Scotland. Yeah, look, they're going to rock up to this tournament with a lot of passion as well. I saw the poster. I think it's real. They were like, "It's coming home," but
That's brilliant. I love it. That's so good.
It's amazing. I'm really excited. I think, again, when it comes to the Euros, there's a lot of passionate sort of nations that love representing themselves, through and through. I think the Scottish will come with a bit of, passion. I'm really excited to see Saucy McTominay come down.
I think, I don't know if he will start next to Billy Gilmore at the same time, but that's a great young midfield if you look at those two together.
He's talented. And then we've got the bit of an upset. Lingard not making the English squad. I'm really sad for him. He did well.
It is quite disappointing. Like, I know he was out of favour at United heavily, but his form in the back few games for West Ham were astounding. I think it was like 16 scoring involvements. I think it was like 9 goals, 7 assists or something in the last 16 games. I think that's insane.
Well, you have to say this squad is young.
It's very young, and they're heavily overloaded at like that number 10 position. So if you look at that squad, right, you've got James Maddison, Mason Mount, Jack Grealish. There's probably more that I'm not very thinking of off the top of my head, but I would pick all of those above him. So that's
one more thing. Have you noticed that this entire team, there's a few players in there that have won trophies this year. You've got Trippier winning the La Liga this year. Then you've got the Chelsea players winning the Champions League. Then you've got the Man City players like Foden winning the Premier League. And, you've got the Dortmund players winning the German Cup, I'm pretty sure. So, like, they're a pretty successful squad of youngsters, to go back to a generation where we had, the Becks Owens and all that Fernandes, there was pretty much not many winning certain things. I'm going to get corrected if I'm wrong saying this, but this squad is pretty young, and a lot of them have tasted, medals already. Like, they're playing first team football, winning cups. Do you think that this is going to bring him over the line this time around?
It's kind of funny because you look at their captain, Harry Kane, and he's the only one without a trophy.
I think that's why he wants to leave, because all the youngsters are winning stuff.
He can't. Well,
he's like, fuck, if Kevin Trippier can win a league, fuck, I can too.
He's pissed off to Spain just to win it. Oh, that's awful.
Harry Kane playing in Deportivo Osasuna.
just to get it. I don't think he get a trophy there though, unfortunately. The England squad is definitely good enough to do well. I guess, this is the thing too. I said before, their dilemma is always who do they pick and do they work well together. There's no doubt that their entire squad is amazing.
They're stacked.
I guess the whole dilemma around taking four right fullbacks. That's a challenge in itself, right? So who do you pick? Who would you pick out of Trippier, Reece James? I can't even remember who else is in there. I think Kyle Walker's probably technically a centre back. Chilwell could play on the left. And this is the thing, right? There's a lot of fullbacks in that squad. I can't remember
what's his name? The United player. Luke Shaw is in the squad as well, I'm pretty sure.
There's a lot of fullbacks in this squad.
That's pretty good,
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing too, right? Like the fullbacks, especially ones like those players that are running, and they're not the sort of fullbacks
playing multiple positions.
Yeah, but they've got a lot of wingers as well, which is.
I think there needs to be a study on this. I think wing backs, or just players playing in the defense and wing back and running up and down, they're the most technical players now these days and most sought out players. I think in the last couple of generations, one of my first players that I loved was Philip Lahm, and he was one of the players that inspired me to play left back. The thought of going up and taking a shot and creating chances. I think this is a big time for the English team, because there's a lot of players that can play multiple positions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is look, they're very dynamic, that's for sure. I just hope for their sake that it isn't their downfall. But look, this is up to Gareth Southgate as much as he cops a massive amount of criticism online.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna have the opportunity and the capability to go the entire way.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to say England, Croatia, Scotland, Czech. Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
Okay, Group E and then Group F. I'll let you announce the teams for Group E.
Sure. So Group E, we've got Poland, Slovakia, Spain, and Sweden. I think this is probably going to be maybe the least watched group for the tournament in terms of viewership. I'm excited to see Sweden. I think I love seeing Sweden at tournaments. I think they're traditionally a good squad. I think Spain and Poland will do well. I think Spain should top the group. I think Spain's squad now starting to rejuvenate. I think they're actually quite young. They've got guys like Ferran Torres, Isco, all I can't remember the kid's name from Real that I've blanked on that's dating that singer. Anyway, there's a lot of good right away.
PK.
No, not PK. They're a very young squad. Not about young. They're a very young squad that's they're gonna I think they're gonna cause some problems, that's for sure. I'm sort of concerned at the fact that maybe there's not enough cohesion, there's not enough experience, between that squad.
Yeah, 100%.
Yet to see, right? That's verdict still out on them, but I think they should. I hope they do top the group. I think there's not too much competition outside of Poland, so I think it's going to end up at Spain, Poland 1 and 2 either way, and then Sweden and Slovakia.
Yeah, look, I'm going to just straight out say that the Spanish team is going to rock up again and just play some football. And then I don't think they're going to do much of an impact. I'm really excited to see players like Ferran Torres. I have always enjoyed watching him at Valencia. Adama Traore, I didn't realize he was picked, and that's amazing. You're going to see him push down and bust people. I thought you froze just then, but I thought you froze, but you were reading something.
Sorry, I was looking at the Spain squad. Actually looking at this squad now, it is stacked. A lot of players that at club level are probably they're not the first player that comes to mind, right? No. Like you've got, I know Thiago Alcantara, like amazing player, but probably if you think of Liverpool, the first thing you think of is Mo Salah or something like that, right? They've got Fabian from Napoli, Rodri from Man City, Pedri from Barcelona. There's some really, really good players there.
Mm-hmm. Now I'm going to quickly look at this as well. Jordi Alba, like you've got Thiago. You've got there's so many. There's actually some good players in this squad. I just don't think how's Busquets still playing? This guy never aged. An exciting one, Laporte. I've got Laporte.
Well, yeah. First, has he played any games for Spain yet?
Maybe in the youth level, or maybe just represented when he was younger. I'm not sure. People can correct us in the comments below. David De Gea, I think being selected as well, wasn't really fond of him this season at United. I think Henderson's going to take the spot next season. But hopefully this is his chance to show his potential buyers. And we've got Morata there, who never wins the Champions League because every time he leaves the team that wins it. What are you saying? Anything else about that?
No, I think they're going to be a very underestimated squad coming into this tournament. Actually, question for you: who do you start, Jordi Alba or Cesar Azpilicueta? Sorry, I'm asking all your Chelsea questions at the moment.
No, I think Jordi Alba. I think Azpi is a great player. But he's won the Champions League. Can he bring that sort of motivation and age and experience? But I think Jordi Alba again could be like a last 20-minute type of thing too as well.
Yeah, I find that interesting. I think for me, Azpi is one of those players that I would take to every international tournament, whether he plays or not. I think he's an asset. So, interesting. I think that's going to be interesting to see who they do pick.
Yeah, that's exciting. Look, one player I'm excited for Sweden is Kulusevski. A lot of pressure on the young man. Chose Sweden over Macedonia, and I think he rightly so he did, because that's his family, that's his choice, But Swedish squad. Ibra's not going to come this time. He's decided to stay home and rest up. But anything about the Swedish squad? I think, like you said, this is a pretty bland group. So anything else?
Yeah, look, they've got Forsberg and Berg separately. Marksberg. I think that both those players are quite good. Especially Forsberg. I think he's going to be brilliant. I hope he causes some chaos for defenses. So I'm really interested to see what they can produce from an attacking sense.
Yeah. One more thing is I'm really excited to see Lindelof play after a good season as well at United. So of
Yeah.
course, everyone's listening and probably say, "Oh, this guy's a United supporter. Of course, he mentions all the United players." I'm saying, well, everyone really doubted us this year, so a lot of players, showed up on during the season. They've got picked up, so that's pretty good. I'm quickly doing
Well,
a
yeah, you look at
search.
United at the start of the year, they weren't great, right? And
Nah.
Reece James, oh my god, Daniel James was playing, sorry, was playing weekly, and then you look at him now, he sort of phased out of the squad, and they started doing well, which is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, this last squad, and this is where we end the group. Sorry, next group, and then we'll talk about like the last sort of topics. But I want to say this. Okay, so it's Group F, but I want everyone to call it Group Def.
Wow,
Get
careful
it?
with
Get
that
it?
one.
Def.
Maybe don't
F.
pronounce it with an F. Oh wow.
Yeah. Look, the group of death, basically.
Yeah, huge. What a group.
France, Germany, Hungary, and Portugal. Hungary is just sitting there like, what the fuck have I done with my life to be in this groups?
I swear I saw on when they announced their groups. I don't know if it was the president, not probably not the president, the one of the coach or someone representing Hungary, and they just start laughing. And I thought it was
Yes,
hilarious because it's like,
I
what are you
remember that.
supposed to do? Like,
I
it's just
remember
so
that.
unfortunate. You end up in a group with what current champions, current runners up, and Germany, who have, I guess, well, you know what, Germany are probably in the worst form of the international career
Yeah.
based on the last few tournaments. Which is probably not a bad thing for them. They may be able to knock them off, but you're not going to expect Germany to come into that and play well. Play poorly, sorry.
Oh, look, I think all teams are going to, every team coming to this tournament is going to play well, but the French squad, the Portuguese squad, the German squad, and then you got the little
Well,
Hungarians just chilling, enjoying life. So fun
I mean,
times.
I've been looking forward to this part of the Portugal squad for a long time. I think it's this, phasing out of Ronaldo, not so much phasing out. I think reinvigorating him as like a strict number 9.
Mm-hmm.
And we saw it in the last few tournaments with them in particular because they've got those other players that can play in those wide running areas. But I think it's just going to be next level for this tournament with them. Then you
Yeah,
look at the French
100%.
squad, and now you have that similar scenario, but now you add Benzema into the mix. I think if you've got like Benzema, Mbappe, Griezmann, and there's so many more, that front line could have like I think an abundance of like 6 or 7 different players. It's going to be huge. Like that is insane. That front line is ridiculous.
I'm
You add in
gonna
like Coman,
yeah,
Ben
go.
Yedder, there's heaps.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Look, I think quickly. I'm gonna just say something. I'm gonna say France. Uh, they're gonna do good. Germany, they're gonna try well, and then Portugal. Yeah, fuck. If they've got some good, moments. But what would you say out of France and Germany and Portugal? Which one's gonna turn up?
I think France and Portugal will comfortably get through this group. I wouldn't be surprised if they go through like say 7 points each, just 2 wins and a draw against each other, and the others just struggle through.
Yeah, look, again, my notes are pretty much here saying France, Germany, Portugal, and I forgot the fourth team.
That's concerning. Poor Hungary. Poor Zappa's life. I can't even pronounce his name. I just know he's a Jet and he had a really good Champions League run.
Look, there's a lot of players in this tournament that I'm really excited about. And this is the thing with this entire tournament as well, is that it's going to be an exciting time for a lot of us watching. I think we're waiting for a lot of these players to team up with certain players, together. Like Bellingham, I think this is the first time in a long time that he gets to show, that he's the player that everyone's talking about. And, I'm really excited because some of these players I don't get to watch. I don't really get the chance to watch certain leagues, due to time difference or clashes with the games I watch. But
yeah, it's different with Bundesliga, right? Like we don't get that much exposure here.
no, in Australia, we don't really get to watch all that sort of. I look Serie A, I wake up and watch Inter Milan, but there's some players in this tournament that I'm just like, oh wow, I've never had the opportunity to watch him. I am going to say, I think 4 sort of topics now. So, who do you think is going to win the league? Who do you think is going to come second, runners up? The league, sorry. Who do you think is going to win the Euros?
I'm gonna go. I think Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
I
Grand
think
final. Who's going to be up there?
I think they're well rounded, and I think they're going to meet France in the final. I think they're going to both,
Ooh.
leave the group stage together and meet back again. I'm sure there'll be some sort of upset, but I think it's going to be them that go the whole way.
Oh, look, probably should have seen the way this is going to be seeded, just in case some of these teams meet halfway. Probably should have seen the formula of the tournament, just in case some of these teams meet in the semis. But I'm going to say England, and I'm going to say France. I'm going to think it's going to be England-France final, and I think it's going to go to penalties. And for the first time ever, I think it'll be a 1-1, and the first time ever, England's going to win something on penalties.
Wow. Can you imagine that? That'd take that voodoo off them for good, surely.
And Harry Kane will score the thing, and he'll finally win something. He'll be happy. He'll stay at Tottenham. All the Spurs fans will praise him. He goes back to Tottenham and wins nothing for the rest of his life because he's won the Euros with England.
Well, I guess this is probably a good talking point based on international tournaments, right? The transfers that come out of them.
Yeah,
if England win this tournament, do teams like Real Madrid come chasing for Harry Kane?
Mate, there's so many players on for sale, potential sale this summer.
Huge, yeah. There's an abundance, but hypothetically in that scenario, you would assume that someone will come looking.
Oh, look, anyone can buy Harry Kane if they want to, but I think he's got to choose where he wants to go. He can't just leave Spurs and end up at a team like Arsenal. That's never going to happen unless you're Sol Campbell. I think you got to realize. I think some of these players are coming to this moment and thinking to themselves I have to show up. I have to do something for myself, let alone for my country. But the English squad, there's a lot of players out there who have a solid first 11. So I don't think there's a lot of pressure for them to show their own individual brilliance. I think they want to win something because I think a lot of fans are on their backs. I think that's the biggest problem with this English squad always is that the fans are the ones pushing them to win stuff, not the players in the sense of they have to show up.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's nice. It's probably why it's good that they have a young squad because those guys will still be hungry. I think it's going to really benefit them that they are that young. And they're one squad that I always love watching. And I think I'm really excited to see them play this one. Question for
Everyone loves Euro.
If you could have one player to transfer to Man United based on their performance in this tournament, who do you think it would be?
Oh, entire tournament to me. Oh my God, that's a big decision. I really can't pick. That's you've put me on the spot right now. I don't know. There's not many players I could put into our squad. Definitely a centre back, but I don't know. I don't think I've watched enough of each of these teams. If I had to pick one player,
I'm
going to pass.
That's right. I'm just trying to think. There's a lot of young players that will transfer based on their result. Based on the result of oh my God, just tongue twisted that on big time. Based on their performances in this tournament, will gain a transfer to a big club. And we've seen in the past, right? You look at James Rodriguez, has an unbelievable tournament for Colombia. The next season gets a massive transfer to, I think it was Real.
Yeah.
Huge. This is definitely a place for players that are lesser known to put on a show. So
exactly, that's what I was saying. I think if there was one player that I think from my sort of thing, I think a lot of people are going to realize that there's a player called Elif Elmas at Macedonian playing at Napoli, who's potentially going to get some eyes turning.
Yeah. So I think I was just looking at this Spanish squad, and I still think there's a lot of youth in that attacking line, and if they don't persist with someone like Morata and they give someone else a go, I reckon there might be something there.
Yeah, I think that's one thing with the Euros is that there's a lot of players. Kulusevski at Sweden. You've got, like you said, Ferran Torres, who can still progress. Is still a young kid. And then you've got the Ukrainian teams. You've got the teams like the Austrian. You've got Finland. You've got all these teams that come to these tournaments, and someone has a moment. I think Pavard did that for me at the World Cup. He did well, but I don't think he's done much since then. Scott McTominay has a moment now to show off his skills. So in that case, who do you think is going to be the player of the tournament for you?
Oh, player of the tournament. That's a huge one. I'm going to go, look, I said Portugal would win it. I think I might go with Bruno Fernandes. Not Bruno, sorry. Yeah. Oh my God. Bernardo Silva, not Bruno Fernandes, my bad.
Ooh, I'm going to say Bruno Fernandes. I'm going to say him and Ronaldo and a few of the players are going to team up. I feel like that's going to be something spicy. And I know a lot of people are going to call him penalty and, two players going for penaldos. But really excited to see Bruno supply some nice, it'll be a good little United team up there for me.
I'm actually really interested to see how he fits into that squad. It almost seems like, like players like Bernardo Silva can fit around Ronaldo comfortably, right? Like those players mold and adapt quite well. Whereas Bruno Fernandes is one of those players that you sort of mold the squad around him. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that's going to fit well with a player like Ronaldo up front. it may be amazing. It could very well be. But I just really, I'm interested to see how they match up.
Yeah, look, I'm just looking at the Croatian team. Ante Rebic. Yeah, look, there's a lot of players. Yeah, Kovacic. Like, there's just so many players that have just done well in their sense of like winning stuff this year. But like, I don't know. There's not many players that I can think of right now, still from that earlier question that you sent me. I'm still thinking about who would United have to sign. Like, there's going to be exciting tournament. Someone's going to just end this tournament for themselves and have a great tournament. Any other sort of topical things you want to say? Anyone a top goal scorer, a good goalkeeper? I think Schmeichel will have a
let's
good
go.
tournament.
We'll call it now. Okay, we'll go for Golden Boot. Who do you think will come through?
Mbappe.
Yeah, I think I was thinking something similar. Although, as much as everyone knew who he was in the last few tournaments, I think they struggled to adapt to that speed, and I think it was still a shock. I think now he's a bit older, and I think maybe players are sort of understanding how to defend against him a bit more. The fact that this is interesting too, right? Like the fact that he is playing in France. I wonder if the fact that he doesn't get that exposure,
yes,
or the
exactly.
defenders don't get that exposure to playing on him. So
bro, he's only 22 years old. He's only 22 years old.
So I wonder, if you're not getting these big name centre backs playing on him every twice a week, analysing him for his season, can you handle him? I don't think so. I think he's going to definitely be one of the top scorers. I think he's extremely talented. He's extremely quick, and he's going to be so hard to handle. Outside of him, I don't know. I think maybe there's always going to be one of those dark horse or just unchecked sort of players that
dark horse. Ready? Dark horse.
So
you're going for a dark horse.
Dark horse, or as a club or player for Golden.
Player. You ready for my one?
Yeah, go for it.
Timo Werner.
Really? You think he's going to turn it on for the World Cup?
Can you imagine if he just, he's had all this, struggle, and then he turns up for the tournament and comes back to Chelsea and ends up winning the Golden Boot for the Premier League, and Chelsea wins the league next year out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think every Chelsea supporter will know that his effort is undeniable. His ability to hit the back of the net has been terrible, but he's always there, and he's always in the right position, and he's always putting in a shift.
Yeah,
if something just clicks and works for him, mate, you know what? All the best to him. I think that's probably just what Germany needs, to be honest. And I think that's what Timo needs.
100%. Quickly searching. Yeah, go.
No, I was going to say, I think who the player of the tournament, we said already, the Golden Boot, Golden Gloves.
Golden Glove. Ooh.
Yeah.
In Henderson.
One, actually. I guess, that's probably a good one. I might actually give Donnarumma a run. I reckon he might actually have a reasonable tournament. Yeah. I think he seems like he's in a position where it's going to be make or break for his career. A bad tournament could kill him. A good tournament could set him up for his life. So,
do you know how old he is?
He's 23, isn't he?
Bro, he's 22 still. He's been around for so many years, since he was 16. Like, this guy is...
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's going to be the next Buffon, but the other way around. He started when he was a baby, and he'll probably... can you imagine if he plays at the age of Buffon? He would have definitely be, like, in his prime time by he's still got his 20s and 30s. He's not even 30 yet. Like, keepers stay till they're 40. How old is Buffon these days?
He's 40. He's in his 40s, I think. He'd be early 40s.
43, man.
Yeah.
He's 20.
And apparently he's on the move too, actually.
Where's he going to go?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he went back somewhere like from his earlier in his career. I don't think he's going to go to Parma. I think Parma might still be too high.
Yeah.
But, hey, if you're Parma, would you take him? Probably.
Ends up at Chelsea, just on the bench.
Yeah. I don't know about
that. Young player of the tournament, I'm going to say Ferran Torres.
Oh, young player. How old is Ferran Torres?
21.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize he was that young. He's a bloody good player. Young player of the tournament. Does Sancho still count as young?
Which Sancho? This is lots.
Sancho.
Oh, Sancho. Oh,
probably
yeah. Half the English squad is young. Oh,
Saka. Yeah. You know what? Actually, I might give Mason a pump up.
Even Saka,
obviously scored this morning as well for them, which is great.
But then it depends on his game time. I think Ferran Torres is definitely going to be the first 11 if he gets to play,
Yeah, I can't see Saka getting much game time, to be perfectly honest. I think he's too green still.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm putting my notes away. Go finish that. What you were about to say?
No, I think he's in he's in the position where it's flooded. So I think he's not going to get the run that he needs.
100%. I think that's the biggest problem with tournaments, like you said before, the English squad. Who's going to be playing in the first 11? Who's going to miss out? And who's going to rock up to the tournament and not even get a chance to play? Oh, it's the beauty of tournaments. I think the squads get chosen on the day and how the coach is feeling. I'm really excited. Oh yeah, this one of the coaches I'm really excited to see, like I said, is Shevchenko at Ukraine. I forgot to mention that before.
Yeah. I think that he's going to be one that gets a lot of camera attention too. Like every World Cup and every Euros, there's always that like one coach that manages to stop a ball dead on the sidelines, right? I think it's going to be him. Yeah, exactly right. There's him as well.
Roberto Martinez.
There's a lot of good ex-coaches there, ex-players, sorry, that are coaching.
Yeah, Ryan Giggs as well, like I said before, Southgate. Like, pretty good. Finally, we're at that time where we realize how old we are when we see players that we used to watch as coaches, like our parents used to say to us,
Yeah, I might actually try and put together an 11 of coaches and see if there's like a full 11 on Euros.
Oh, who was a keeper? Let's see. We're going to find it. There's going to be one keeper in there.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a keeper, actually. That's a good point.
Anything you want to say before we end this episode? So, like we said, we'll definitely do a kid episode, but is any last messages for your sign-offs?
No, look, I'm jacked for Euros, and I think it's good. It's that time that it's here. There's a few more days to go, which is great. Really can't wait.
100%. Look, like I said to everyone at the start of this episode, we're going to do an episode for the kids. We've got about a week or so till the tournament starts, so this will go live this week. We'll make an episode for the kids. If you have any mentions or any of your thoughts for the Euros, let us know in the comments below. Paul, thank you so much for your time. If there's anything you have for the sign-off, let us know now. Otherwise, I'll do my sign-off.
No, nothing. Go for it, mate. It's all yours.
Perfect. I think that should just be a sign-off. Me asking you say no, yeah? Thank you, guys. Stay safe. Stay away from stupid people. We'll see you soon. Thank you and goodbye.